Hey everyone, welcome back to the Kempire channel. Let me know where you are watching from. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I'm going to talk a little bit about Real Housewives of New York. I don't have a lot to say, but we will talk a little bit about it at the beginning. But I definitely want to talk all about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They had a supersized episode. It's like about an hour on Peacock with no commercials. So I want to talk about that, so I won't waste a lot of time. Hope you guys had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Happy Black Friday. Are there any real Black Friday deals? If there are, please let everyone else know in the chat. I will highlight them if there are some real Black Friday deals. Maybe Black-owned businesses have Black Friday deals. I will tell you guys this right now on my CAMEO, you can get it more than half off. So if you really want a Black Friday deal, it's more than half off on the Kempire CAMEO. So if you want a birthday wish, Christmas wish, anniversary wish, this is your time to book a CAMEO for me. All right. So make sure you check that out. More information on the Kempire cameos will be available in the description, along with everything else, including our merch store and our touring dates. We're coming to London literally a week from this Sunday. We'll be live for the Kempire After Dark, a live experience in London. Ticket information is available in the description, along with ticket information about our Washington, D.C. show that will be happening on January 24th of 2025. So if you haven't gotten your tickets for that, more information on there, on that will be available there. New York City, stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be able to announce that date very soon, but that will be at the top of next year as well. All right. Soraya says, it's okay. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Soraya says, it's okay, Kemp. There is nothing to talk about with Real Housewives of New York. It's all Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Woo, that was a good episode. Mary came through. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about. The fact that I had to watch that more than once, it's a lot. But I watched it because there were things and moments that I wanted to capture and talk about. All right. Tyrese says that Old Navy has 50% off almost everything. Isn't that what they always have? At least the outlet, I feel like, always has 50% off everything. Just saying. Anyways. But look, maybe there are some really good things. Okay, Marlo says, hold on. If you're a sneakerhead, my son got a pair of these Adidas for $30, originally $130, and a pair of Nikes for $25, originally $120 something. Where, Marlo? On their website? On their website? Let us know. You know, I don't consider myself a sneakerhead, but I do consider myself, I love shoes and sneakers. But as I've gotten older, oh, damn. Hold on. As I've gotten older, I can't wear the shoes that I really like enjoying. So I wear a lot of like sneakers, like comfortable sneakers, not even the sneakers I really want to wear. And if I do wear them, I can only wear them for a short period of time. Whoa, Kempire's feet. So, again, if you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know of any Black Friday deals. I know Monday is Cyber Monday. Look, the Black Friday deals aren't what they used to be. Let's be honest, okay? But anyways, Real Housewives of New York City, before we get into Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I'll say this. I can't believe that we are how many weeks later and we're still talking about the prank. Who knew about the prank? Aaron getting mad at Raquel for calling her out for the misinformation and saying that Bryn was in on it or Bryn was not in on it. I don't care. Point blank period. I don't care. Andy, again, you said you hate a prank, but you looked at all of these episodes, you reviewed these episodes, and you saw that for how many weeks we're talking about the same stupid prank. Grown women arguing about some sort of prank. I don't care. I really tried to pay attention to decipher why they were mad at each other, but it's another week of, look, we watch Housewives for some of this nonsensical drama, but this is where it gets ridiculous. I'm watching season 1 yesterday because, I didn't want to watch anything new. I did watch Salt Lake City yesterday, but I was watching season 1 and part of season 2 of Real Housewives of New York, the heyday. They had nonsensical drama, but it felt real. They were fighting over status. They were fighting over this person didn't invite me to, that's real. But here's the thing. So many of these Housewives shows of today, 15 years later, 16, 17, 18 years later, 20 years later, are still trying to mimic these fights from yesteryear. There are other things you could be fighting about. Anyways, so Jenna, you have a hall pass to cheat with Raquel? I paid attention to that. Look, I paid attention to that. Look, I mean, there is an attraction. I just don't think that Raquel's girlfriend gave her a hall pass or is open to that. And honestly, I watched The L Word, and The L Word had some sexy scenes. I don't find Jenna and Raquel. I find Raquel like, yes, that would be sexy. But Jenna and Raquel, no. Y'all really want this to be The L Word, and it's so not. It's so not. Please and thank you. Get off of my screen. And look, I still like Jenna. Look, at the end of the day, Jenna has achieved a lot. A lot to aspire to. A lot of very aspirational. Fine. But at this particular point, I wish Jenna came and did one season and left. I wish she just did one season and left. Ubah, look. Ubah says she never really heard about fibroids and things like that. I appreciate the conversation about fibroids because it affects Black women and women of color at an alarming rate. I learned I forgot what it is she mentioned in the scene that I didn't realize. Oh, she was talking about the medication that you could possibly take, but then she couldn't get pregnant. That was one new thing. I've been talking Housewives for a long time, so I've heard about fibroids. Look, I also have, Black women in my life, so I've heard about fibroids. So I appreciate the conversation, but again, she's talking about Oliver and how Oliver is such a sweet man, and Oliver says, even if we're not able to have a baby, I love our life together. That is fantastic, but Oliver's not here on the show. Hold on. Let me pull up. Like I need to feel like I'm talking to Ubah. Let me find her pic. Here it is. Ubah. Hello, Dolly. Say hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. Sorry. Ubah, I don't care. I understand your man is private, does not want to be on this show. He makes kudos money that he doesn't need to be on this show. He doesn't care. Girl, then what do we have? What do we have? And I've said this before. It's not about a storyline. It's about a personality. It's about being interesting. Honestly, Ubah alone, yes, we've had some quirky, funny moments from her from season 1. This season, really not interested. Really not interested. I don't need to hear secondhand what Oliver is saying to you. And I get it. Oliver doesn't want to be on the show. Then we don't need to do a show. Both of us. And honestly, I think if we didn't have such pre-produced and such a terrible cast, Ubah not having much of a storyline, I'd probably be like, okay, fine. She could come in, sprinkle with the... Now I'm just like, no. No, it's too many people pre-producing. It's too many people without a storyline. No, I don't care. I don't care. What I will say I cared about is because you remember the rumor about Sai being the other woman. I'm so glad that they talked about it this season. She was like, I knew this man. She said like years after he got a divorce. I'm glad they cleared that up because we love Sai's husband because I like Sai's husband, okay? So I'm glad they talked about that and they cleared that up. Of course, they wanted to play this messy game about rumors. Let me tell you something, Rebecca. Every week you talk about Scientology. We are learning more and more that Scientology is not a religion and probably should lose their religious tax status. Because she's like, I have Judaism, which is my religion. And then, I have this sort of like philosophy that is Scientology. Please understand. Did you guys see Rebecca go down to Florida? Because they go there when they have to reprogram you, allegedly. Look, allegedly. This was the Sea Org or something like that. Did she go down there? Because I think they are not going to be happy with the way that she's been trying to talk about the religion and not really doing it justice. She's like, oh, they talk. People ask me questions about aliens and things like that. Yeah, because that's what your founder. Look, why do I know more about your religion than you do? That's what your founder said in the books. Okay, I didn't read the books. I watched a documentary from someone that was in it a long time. Leah Remini. She was in it since she was a little girl. So she's not doing the philosophy any favors, okay? And Jessica, you're ridiculous. Jessica is like, I just want to know about Tom Cruise. And they flash back to last season when she wanted her kids to hobnob with Tom Cruise's kids. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you want to do that? She's such a social climber. But look, when I watched season 1 of Real Housewives of New York, we have Alex, such a social climber. I'm honestly surprised that Alex from season 1, I kind of want to know where she is and how she is now. Oh my God, her and Simon were such clout chasers. They were so thirsty. I'm shocked that they left New York. I'm surprised they didn't end up going to some place where they could be a part of that life again. But I don't know anything about Australia. Australians, let me know. Are they still that way over there in Australia, trying to mix and mingle with the the elites? They were so thirsty in their first season, and they didn't even have a floorboard. They didn't have a ceiling, and they had kids running around. So look, we were going to get a life update from Alex on Morocco, but we're not going to see Morocco now. Look. Woo, 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 Bravo Universe. Woo, woo, woo. I'd much rather talk about season 1 of Real Housewives of New York than the current season. But one thing I will say that I enjoyed from this episode of Real Housewives of New York was them talking about abortion and how that has affected the country. And for me, it's not even just about the topic of abortion. It's the topic of family secrets, things that families don't talk about. And then when you start talking about it, you find out, oh, Aaron's mom had one. Aaron's father, may he rest in peace. He loved his daughter and she loved her dad. That was one thing that we got from season 1 and in season 2. She loved her father. Like, they had such a close relationship. And as you know, 4 months later, he passed away. So this conversation, we find out that he had gotten someone pregnant and she did the same thing. So it was interesting. It was definitely interesting to see this topic come up, because I feel like these topics are important to have. And maybe this led to other people in other families that are watching the show to have that conversation. I can appreciate it. But the topic of this prank, I'm over it. Because what else happened in this episode? Jenna, she's having separation anxiety. Her son's about to head off to college. Very relatable. I know a lot of people can relate, but okay. Don't care. Sorry. All right. How many minutes did I give them this week? Okay. About 10 minutes. Not bad. 10, 12 minutes. Anyways, I did think it was sweet to see that final scene in this week's episode of Real Housewives of New York between Erin and her father. Here's the thing. When Erin tells a story, even the way she was trying to have the conversation with her father, maybe she already had the conversation with her father, but Erin always feels so pre-produced. And I know I say this every week, but because there are a lot of people pre-producing on these shows. We see it on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They just do a better job. All right. I say all that to say, today's live recap of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is brought to you by our friends over at Uncommon Goods. Officially, now I can say officially the holidays have started. You guys can stop screaming at me. It's not started. We haven't been Thanksgiving yet. Fine. Now it's started, all right? So our friends over at Uncommon Goods says, spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts that spark joy, wonder, delight, and it's exactly what I wanted feeling. Oh, wait, let me switch cameras. Look, can I switch cameras? Hold on. How do I switch cameras? Why am I think? Oh, it's locked. That's why. Let me do. No, I can't. Damn, what is going on today? Mercury retrograde. What is happening right now? All right, fine. I thought I could switch my cameras. I wanted to do the little commercial cam, but I don't see where it is. It's fine. Whatever. Anyways, so they scoured the globe for original, handmade, absolutely remarkable things. Somehow they know exactly the perfect gift for every single person you know. And as you know, I know you want a discount. It's Black Friday, so you want a discount. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/Kempire. That's uncommongoods.com/Kempire for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. More information on Uncommon Goods and everything else Kempire will be available in the description. Thank you, Uncommon Goods, for sponsoring today's live recap of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. All right. Thank you so much for the gifts, guys. Nicole, thank you so much for the gift. Nicole says, hey, King. Hey, Queen. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate the support, guys. You can also support just by liking the video. Julie, thank you so much for the support. Julie says, hold on. Two Roni were on a podcast and said Bryn is Angela from Rugrats. Looks and acts. I Googled it and they were so on, especially her looks. Roni equals canceled. No, I could definitely see that. I used to love Rugrats back in the day. Oh, my goodness. Anyways, let me get to my notes. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. What a heart-wrenching episode. If you guys had to rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of New York, how would you rate it? I probably forgot to do it in the live chat, but it's fine. It's okay. We will be strong, okay? How would you rate it? Okay, so Heather and Whitney is the first scene that we get, and they're planning this sort of like camp day with the ladies, and they're inspired by Troop Beverly Hills, which was one of my favorite movies growing up. I used to love that movie. I've watched it so many times. So many times. So Whitney thinks that Meredith she might understand why Meredith is such a miserable person because she never had some of these experiences as a kid growing up. Maybe. Meredith is a lot. I will say she did make me key a couple of times. However, it's not enough for me to be like, yes, Meredith is necessary on the show. At least with Heather Gay, I can say, well, no, Heather gives me the perspective of a Mormon in Utah. So I can kind of see her value. Meredith, but I've been saying this since season 1. That was the same season that Meredith followed me, then unfollowed me on Twitter. I don't care, Meredith. You're not going to stop me from saying what I need to say. I don't care if a housewife follows me. I don't care to be friends with you housewives. I'd much rather talk about you behind your back freely. Just saying. So I've always sort of like, Meredith, not a favor, because I feel like she's not giving us the true story. Ever. But I do appreciate certain moments for her, like, you can leave. Or the little bit of the slurring between the husbands and the rumors. Like, I can appreciate that, okay? And some people might say, well, she's iconic because of stuff like that. No, she's not. Y'all love to throw around that word iconic a little too willy-nilly, okay? Y'all love to throw around that word a little too iconic. A little too loosely. But I appreciate Meredith because when they talking about the hearing aids and Meredith's reaction, because she was so serious. She was so serious, but we'll get there. I don't want to rush, okay? Anyways, so they're planning this day event for the ladies, okay? And again, and this is why I appreciate Bronwyn, because even Bronwyn going to this event, she's just like, I'm surprised that they're throwing an event together. Because didn't I tell you how many episodes ago you have Heather throwing Whitney under the bus at the Betzel's party, and then all of a sudden we're in Milwaukee and she's like, we love you, Whitney. And I was like, y'all hate each other. Like, if they were consistent, like if they had their issues and I felt like they genuinely made up and they've been consistent with that, then I could understand. But I feel like they really don't like each other. I don't care if they have the same great-great-great-grandfather. The only person, I have to give Mary, and look, Mary has given us some iconic moments over the years, but this season, Homegirl has shown up and shown out this season. She's given us comedy, she's given us grounded, she's given us real, she's given us raw. Oh, we'll get to it because that's such a hard scene to talk about. Speaking of Mary, so Mary checks on her son doesn't respond, which kind of worried me. I don't know about anyone else, but the fact that because we know what he's going through, the fact that he didn't answer the door, I was like, and she's not even sure if he was home or not. I think he was home. I think he was just high. Okay. But Mary didn't go into the room. She's going to go meet with Meredith. Meredith wants us to believe she's some sort of martyr for reaching out to Mary. I was like, we're going to have to understand that Meredith is a Karen. And again, Karen has nothing to do with race. Karen because some of y'all could be Karens too, and some of y'all not white, okay? But for me, this episode and the after show for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City has shown me multiple times that some of this behavior, this victimhood that Meredith has been doing, is very Karen-esque behavior. because she feels like that Mary should fall at her feet. The fact that she reached out to Mary after getting kicked out of the house. She didn't get kicked out. And I love the fact that the producers played back the video, and it's clear. You see Mary yelling at Angie and yelling at Meredith. Please stop. If you're not going to stop, you should leave. She didn't kick you out. She said, if you're not going to stop, you can leave. But again, you were screaming, so maybe you didn't hear that. Very understandable. But she had to make it all about her. Oh, I don't stay where I'm not wanted. And then she's like, because she went to go meet with Mary at this art exhibit. And so she's there and she's waiting. And she's like Mary is 40 minutes late. So she's like, she decided to reach out to Mary. Oh, even though she didn't have to, she decided to reach out to Mary to see what's going on with her. All right. She says that Mary came yelling at her. And I was like, Mary was yelling at you because you were yelling in her house, her place of worship. Okay. Some people are very sensitive about stuff like that. I remember Dr. May she rest in peace. Dr. Maya Angelou talking about people not cursing in her home, gossiping in her home. Some people are very, and Mary, remember, Mary's the head of a church. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's like, you guys are not going to do that in my house. And she's like, if you're not going to stop, you can leave. She said it to both Angie and to Meredith. Okay. So Meredith says in this moment, she's like, Mary was yelling at her and picking on her. Picking on you? Picking on you? What? Okay. She says she's being the bigger person. I feel like I'm being the bigger person by inviting Mary to this museum to have a conversation. Okay, fine. Okay. So that's when we see Mary is on her way. She's getting ready, but she went to check on Robert Jr. He doesn't answer. She's like, okay. But then Mary also says about Robert Jr., she says that she's hoping and praying that his issues will go away. This is when where she's starting to kind of set us up for talking about his issues. Okay. Mary says Mary's an hour late for meeting Meredith because she's going to meet Meredith in Park City. Look, if we're not from Utah, we have no idea what traffic is like in Utah or Salt Lake City, or how far Salt Lake City is from Park City. But apparently it's far. And Mary points that out. She's like, she's always renting in Park City. It takes like an hour to get there. So before Mary gets there, Meredith FaceTimes her son. Her son says to her, why are you FaceTiming me? The vocal fry. I would just hope. Here's the thing. Can I just say this? And this is not just for Meredith and her son. It's people in general, because I always find it so interesting, especially because I've recently seen this too. If you have a level of education, access to education, why are we talking in slang? Why are we talking in vocal fry? I've noticed that recently. I'm not talking about just Brooks. I've seen some other kids of celebrities talking like they didn't go to like a private school and get all the education and all the tutors. They're talking like they grew up in the street. I'm like, why are you talking like that? Okay, fine. But the vocal fry, I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah. Like, why are you FaceTiming me? Here's the thing. If I'm an employer and that's how you come to me, look, I don't know what Brooks is doing. He's a fashion designer. But if you come to me and you're talking in vocal fry, please understand you're not getting the job. You're not getting the job. Don't talk to me in vocal fry. I'm not saying you have to speak the King's English, but I just don't understand why you're talking. Why are you FaceTiming me? Because she's using you as a pawn, as Sean said. That's why she's calling you. He's like, why are you FaceTiming me? Because she has no one to film with. Your father is always absent. We're glad about that. Okay? We're glad about that. He's like, why are you FaceTiming me? Anyways. So Mary finally gets there after an hour of Meredith walking around, all right? And Meredith says, she's like, Mary's behavior seems out of character. She's always been there for Mary. And look, yes, if you go back through time, I never really believed that Mary and Meredith were deep friends. I never believed that. But I do believe that Meredith was sort of there for Mary when everyone was on the out with her. I don't know if that was just Meredith being nice or Meredith being strategic? I'm not sure. But I never felt like they had a deep friendship. I never felt that way. So Meredith says that, Mary seems out of character, and she asked Mary, like, is anything going on? And some people might say, well, Mary never gave Meredith the information that there are things going on with her son. But then it goes back to what I was saying. They're probably not that close. I wonder if Mary has shared some of these struggles with Angie. I feel like that's a real friendship, or at least a developing friendship. I'm not going to say it's a real friendship. I could see them becoming closer and closer. I have to say, outside of reality television and the antics that Angie has done on the show, I think she's actually a nice person. I think she's a decent person. You know how we look at Jen from Real Housewives of Orange County? They're not the same, but I will say, especially because Jen doesn't do antics, but I do think that that Angie is a good person and a sweet person and means well. I really do believe that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mary felt more comfortable, possibly, maybe not giving her all the details, sharing something more with Angie versus Meredith. But again, I never felt like they were that close. And again, we're watching an edited show. We were just talking about how, who is it? Erica, Jane, and Kyle, and them being close, but they don't really show that on the show. So maybe it's something like that. But I never got close from Meredith and Mary. But Mary clearly is going through something, but we, the audience, know that, but Meredith doesn't. So that's something that we should keep in mind. However, I do think that Meredith is doing a lot and playing the victim a lot. She does that a lot. She's been doing that since season 1. Why in the after show are we talking about her father and the group? And she says, I'm still mad about that. I'm still hurt about that. I was like, oh my God. Okay. Philly John says, I get good vibes from Angie. Yeah, I think she actually is a decent person. Yes, she will get into all the antics with the rest of the group, but I still feel like she's a decent person. Okay? And I saw her home. She's selling her home. Gorgeous. Like, we see a glimpse of the home, but like when you see it, gorgeous. Marquis, thank you so much for the super chat. Marquis says, not the producers putting a question mark next to Brittany's boyfriend. I missed that. See, if you're not paying attention, you miss out. The editors at Salt Lake City are top tier. Mind you, it's the same production company that films Roni. It doesn't mean it's the same producers. It's the same production company. I don't know if those producers go. I know Eric Fuller's not in Salt Lake City, so Eric's in Roni. Sorry, Eric. I gotta tell the people the truth, okay? That was fun. I didn't notice that. Thank you for that. At the house dinner scene, first time watching live. Oh, Marquis. People are off. People are off today. Happy Black Friday. Happy off day. Love you. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Guys, you can also support the channel just by liking the video. But shout out to those of you that sent in super chats, Venmos, Cash Apps, PayPals, all that stuff we see after the live, but we appreciate the support. Make sure you've checked out everything that you may have missed this week. I didn't post any new videos, but we did have some podcast episodes that came out. Make sure you subscribe to the Kempire podcast. And while you're there, as a Christmas gift to me, can you give me a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify? I would like to get to 1,000 reviews on both platforms. Thank you. All right. Chandler says Eric needs to stay in Roni. No, Eric needs to. Never mind. Let me leave it alone. All right. So the fight between Mary and Meredith, this conversation ends very quickly because they go back on their friendship and what happened at the party. Meredith says that Mary jumped on the bandwagon with Angie. They show the clip again. Mary wasn't jumping on any bandwagon. She was yelling at Angie and she was yelling at you to stop. And if you didn't stop, you could leave her home. I don't blame her. Meredith then brings up, and the fact you showed up 1 hour late. So Mary was so upset about that. Here's the thing. There are a couple of things going on. First of all, she had to come all the way to Park City from Salt Lake City. Apparently, it's very far. The other thing is, she's like, you don't even know what I'm dealing with at home. Literally right before she left. She probably doesn't even want to leave her house for fear of something happening to her son with everything that's going on with him. And I don't remember. No, I think even during filming, because didn't last season we already kind of knew that there was a drug issue with her son? So I feel like a lot of them, if they were close, they probably would have known more than we did. Maybe not, because I'm not going to sit here and act as if Mary's the most open, transparent person in previous seasons. She's definitely more transparent this season. And apparently she did want to get her snowflake because she had called Meredith excited about getting her snowflake. Just saying, something to keep in mind. Okay. Cordelia says that Angie's a little two-faced. I can see that a little bit, but I think a lot of people are two-faced, especially these housewives. Just saying. So the minute that Meredith brings up that Mary was an hour late, that triggers Mary, and she's like, you know what? I'm done. I don't blame her. I never felt like this was a real friendship. I do believe, and if they don't get to a better place by the reunion, I'm gonna look at Meredith with the crazy eyes. I'm gonna look at Meredith that way. Like, you see you literally now know what she was dealing with. Now you know. I don't feel like this is an issue that they can't get over. I don't think they were ever really close, though. I never got close vibes from them. That's just my opinion. Anyways, let's move on to the next thing. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Latest episode. I didn't think they were going to release a new episode on Thanksgiving Eve. Especially because, like, the next day, everyone's going, people travel a lot. Thanksgiving is probably the worst day to travel, but it's also the day that most people travel to friends and family and across the country and things like that. So I was surprised that they put out a new episode, but people were watching it. I don't know what the ratings were. And here's the thing, guys, you're going to see a drop in ratings across the board, not just because of the holiday, but because of streaming. And now I'll tell you a Black Friday deal. You can get Peacock apparently for $20 for the year. Yeah, I don't know what that includes. That probably includes some commercials. Come on. look. But apparently that's a Black Friday deal. They're not paying me, but Bravo, where is my Peacock, NBC Universal? Where is my discount code? Look, where's my discount code? Crystal, hey, Crystal. Crystal says, Kempire, I am late to the live. I will rewind. Here to tell you, I have my VIP tickets to your DC show. Thank you so much. Come on. Thank you, Crystal. Yes. Okay. All right. Amit says, us Canadians were working. Oh, sorry. You guys have your Thanksgiving earlier, right? In October or something like that? I can't remember now. But yeah. So happy Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday. All kinds of deals are going on, okay? But I'm kind of glad, though, despite it being on Thanksgiving Eve, a lot of people tuned in. I don't know what the ratings were for this week, but a lot of people are definitely watching the replay on Peacock and things like that. As I mentioned before, Peacock is having a Black Friday sale. For those that may have been considering getting it, there you go. K-Baby says, Peacock needs to live stream the Housewives shows to get those ratings up. Well, no, I think what's happening, people are watching it on Peacock. That's why you see even Beverly Hills ratings are down, at least by like 300,000 viewers. Like, they normally average 1 million. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think what's happening, people are watching it on streaming now. Okay. Lil Renee says, yeah, Peacock, I started at $199 a month. They are always reasonable right now. they were reasonable at the beginning because they wanted to get more people to do it. All right. Oh yeah, it is October. Thank you, Chocolate Chunks, and Thanksgiving for Canada. All right. Let me see. Thank you so much, Jimmy, for the super chat. Jimmy says, this season has been my first Housewives season ever, and I'm obsessed. All of them are messy, and I live for the chaos. In regards to Salt Lake City. I have to give it to you. And although I do believe that a lot of these housewives on Salt Lake City are pre-producing, they're just doing a better job. They're just doing a better job. Some of them. Heather and Whitney, not so much. Heather and Whitney, not so much. I'm so glad, though. Here's the thing. I can't believe I'm going to be Team Lisa on this situation, but Lisa has a point. Whitney has been out there, I don't know if they're lies, but definitely out there putting out stories the last few seasons about Lisa that have not really come to fruition. So I'm looking at you, Whitney, as a little funky. All right. Okay. Tyler says they have Hey You in the UK for $4.99. I used to have Hey You, like when I traveled. It made it easier for me. But yeah, you can watch a lot of the Bravo shows on Hey You. Okay. All right, let's talk about this Lisa and Angie scene at the aquarium. First of all, Henry is adorable. Dancing. I like seeing. I definitely think that Lisa is humored by Henry. Henry, if I had to choose between the sons, I like Henry more. He seems sweet, innocent, funny. He has a lot of personality, unlike, I'm sorry, Jack, but I'm just saying. Anyways, very sweet. Nice seeing them as mothers. Go to the aquarium, have this good time, touching on snakes and stuff like that. Again, another moment where I'm looking at Andrew being so sweet to Henry, despite what's going on with her and Lisa. She's just so sweet and welcoming to Henry. So they, as the kids go off to play, Electra and Henry go off to play. They have a conversation, Lisa and Angie. And here's the thing, I'm team Angie on this one because I do believe Lisa expects people to suck up to her. I do believe that she expects undying, unwavering loyalty. But we all know, if you watched, that Angie didn't say anything to Whitney that really would have constituted Lisa to be so upset at her. And I'm sure after Lisa sees it, she's going to be like, oh. She didn't say anything. And then Angie, I think it was in the after show, basically said, Lisa had already talked about this out in the public even before she even saw Whitney. So she clearly knew, she clearly already put out there in the public arena how she felt about Whitney talking about her. And that's how I felt. I was like, I don't understand why you're so mad at Angie. Angie didn't say anything. And now Lisa's trying to spread the narrative. Oh, she told Whitney stuff. So when I confronted Whitney, Whitney already knew. And that's not at all what happened. That's not at all what happened. So they talk about their issues. Lisa says that Whitney makes up a lot of lies about her. Angie says that she shuts down in conflict. So for me, the biggest part about this is because we're getting to know a little bit more about Angie, and we remember how she grew up and how she dealt with conflict when it came to her mom. So she says the conflict that she's having with Lisa sort of triggers her. And so she shuts down and she doesn't like this. And I like the fact that she brought it up because to me, it made sense. It made complete sense why she would be that way. But they make good in this scene. And I don't think that they should have an issue, to be honest with you. I just think the issue is always going to be Lisa. I think Lisa is just overly sensitive. I think that Lisa is, because honestly, if Meredith had cursed about Lisa the same, hold on. Look. Hold on. Got me.
Meredith can go herself. I'm done with her. Because I'm not a whore and I don't cheat on my husband. Her and her dumb family that poses. Why don't you own a house? Wait, you can't. Because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes? Fake Meredith is a piece of I have your back and I'm offended by that. You, that piece of garbage whore. I hate her. She's a whore. She's half of New York. She can go herself.
Like that is, if the tables were reversed, Lisa would not talk to Meredith again. Lisa we call her cybersecurity. Lisa would be calling her 18 lawyers to figure out how she could sue Meredith for saying those things about her. So I'm going to sue for defamation. I'm going to sue for, she would be overly dramatic about it. But if the tables are reversed, Lisa's not going to, she's not going to feel the same. I just find that to be interesting, the way that she's trying to hold other people accountable for things that if the tables were reversed, she would be livid and she would hold a grudge. Just saying. All right. But they do make amends. Both Angie and Lisa at the aquarium make amends. And I think it was probably a cute scene and probably easier for them to kind of soften because they were there with their kids. I thought that was nice. All right, let's talk about this camp day. So Whitney and Heather are so excited about their camp day. They're inspired by Troop Beverly Hills, which I love. I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, it doesn't matter if it was of your time. It's such a cute, funny movie. All right. Gigi says, play that again, Kempire. I will have to because Mary brings it up. Okay. So Mary actually attends. She's an hour late, of course, but she arrives with Angie. All right. So Mary says that Meredith. This is in the car on the way there. Mary says that if Meredith would stop renting in Park City, she could have gotten there more quickly in regards to the conversation that they had. Angie says that Meredith didn't forget her gift the day that they got into the argument. She says she's surprised she didn't take the Armani statue on the way out. She's like, Mary responds, she's like, I don't think she would have anywhere to put it in her Airbnb. Like, Mary is reading them for filth like she normally does, but this season she is delivering. She is delivering. All right. Mary says that Meredith is self-absorbed like Lisa. I mean, based off of what Meredith has said in this episode alone, she's like, I'm going to be the bigger person. I don't like the way people treat me. But it is definitely victimhood. It's definitely self-absorbed. And we already know Lisa Barlow is self-absorbed. And I was like, that makes sense. No matter how you feel about Mary, she's been saying a lot of stuff this season that make sense. That make a lot of sense. Anyway, so in the other car, Bronwyn says that that Whitney hasn't spoken kindly of Heather. So Bronwyn is speaking for us because we all are very confused at this Whitney and Heather party throwing and their relationship this season. Because Bronwyn's just like, she hasn't said anything really nice about Heather. So I'm surprised they're throwing this party together. And I'm like, me too. Look, me too. Okay. So she drops that tea only for it to come up a little bit later. So Brittany arrives. Brittany is still dating Jared. She even gets to meet his famous uncle, Donnie. They show the picture of that. Brittany, I don't understand Brittany. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that I love Brittany. But based on what Brittany has brought this season, I do not understand how Brittany does not have a snowflake. Some of you said, oh, she had a lot of stuff going on in the top of the season, but by the end of the season, she didn't really have a lot going on. She still has a lot going on. We're still talking about Jared. We're still talking about this relationship. We're talking about her issues with Angie. Why didn't she get a snowflake? But you do know who was there that is official friend of too? And she got a moment this episode. Miley. Beautiful. But that's about it. She got a little, sound bites in this episode at this group thing. But other than that, we got nothing. You guys could have gotten rid of Miley. You could have gotten rid of her salary and just paid Brittany to be a full-time member. And at this particular point, next season, make her full-time. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a fan of Brittany. But homegirl, someone said who? In regards to Miley? Brittany has been carrying the season on her back. We have OGs that don't have a storyline in sight. Heather, what is her storyline this season? What is Heather's storyline? Her personal storyline. Look, I always say you don't need a personal storyline if you're an interesting person. She's not that interesting. I appreciate the information she gives us in regards to Mormonism. I appreciate that. But and I appreciate her confessionals. But other than that, we could see her producing. Here's the difference between a Heather Gay and maybe a Garcelle. Garcelle will say things that we all are thinking. She'll hold people accountable. It doesn't feel like she's producing. You know what? And mind you, she's an actual producer. Maybe that's why she's able to produce and us not notice it. I don't understand why Brittany didn't get a full-time snowflake. Like she said, I don't remember Maylee. Maylee was there. She had a couple of moments. I mean, you had to be paying attention, though. She was there, though. Hey, Elle Singleton. Elle Singleton says, yes, Brittany has an interesting storyline. She's authentic. And she's kooky and funny. Like, she's perfect. She fits in perfect with this crew. Let's be honest. She fits in perfect with this crew. Ethereal Epiphanies says, Heather's storyline is not trusting Bronwyn. And mind you, we can't trust you. Okay? Anyway, so Brittany's still dating Jared. Fine. Brittany says she admits, I'm dating 10 guys, but 3 I'm dating seriously. And then she talks about, I'm doing it BYU style. And we're like, we learn a new thing. Again, this is why I value a Heather Gay. Okay? So she teaches us about soaking. So penetration without motion. And then she says, if you go to the elders of the church, they will ask you 3 questions. Was there thrusting? Was there pumping? Or was there an orgasm? If you say no, 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 they're like, go right with God. You're fine. I never heard about this with Mormonism, but it just reminds me of the hypocrisy of religion, because people want to swear that they're all holier than thou, but this is what y'all are doing on the low. This is what y'all are doing on the low. Or putting it in the other end and saying, oh, I'm still a virgin.
Yeah. Meredith can go herself. I'm done with her. Because I'm not a whore and I don't cheat on my husband. Her and a dumb family that poses. Why don't you own a house? Wait, you can't. Because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes? Fake Meredith is a piece of I have your back and I'm offended by that. You that piece of garbage whore. I hate her. She's a whore. She's half of New York. She can go herself.
Here's the thing. When I have my daytime talk show and Meredith Marks comes on it, because she'll come on it, because she'll go to the opening of an envelope. She'll come on the daytime talk show and I'm going to play the scene, but I'm going to actually have the video footage. And I'm like, so how are you still, look, I don't care. And look, how are you still friends with a woman that says these things about you? And who are the men here in New York? Because I know you said you're here in New York a lot. Well, she admitted that they had issues. Her and Seth had issues. Are those issues over? No. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but fine. Look, fine. But on my daytime talk show, I'm like, look, she's going to sit on the table. We're going to be talking about something. Sit on the table. Sit on the, in the chair. We're going to talk about something completely different. And then I'm like, so Meredith, you and Lisa have had issues over the years. Okay? And you seem to have found your way back to each other. But let me tell you something. There is no way in hell I could get over this. Play it, John. Look.
Go. Meredith can go herself. I'm done with her. Because I'm not a whore and I don't cheat on my husband. Her and a dumb family that poses. Why don't you own a house? Wait, you can't. Because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes? Fake Meredith is a piece of I have your back and I'm offended by that. You that piece of garbage whore. I hate her. She's a whore. She's half of New York. She can go herself.
How do you get over that, Meredith? I'd like, teach us your ways, because I need that level of forgiveness, Meredith. And I'm going to have to add the music, because that music wasn't a part of it originally. I did that music. So we're going to have to add that to the clip that we play. I just wonder how Meredith is going to, this is going to be Meredith. She's going to, for those that are watching this on YouTube, those of you that are listening, you'll have to watch the YouTube version. Meredith's just going to be like, well, forgiveness. That's how we do, We got to, we've moved past it. It's just, we had years of friendship before that, and she was upset, and, All right. All right, fine. Okay. All right. She's been able to move past it this season. Anyways, okay. So let's get through what happens at this party. All right. We learned about soaking. Never heard of that before, but we learned something new. Angie, though, brings up Brittany being upset about the bottle of wine, but then tells us that Brittany thanked her for the bottle of wine later. I was like, oh, here goes another nugget that comes out of the woodwork. And then Brittany tries to make it seem like, oh, well, I felt like, you shouldn't have did that. Come on, Brittany. Come on. So Brittany doesn't just have issues with with Mary. She's got issues with Bronwyn. She's got issues with Angie. Why didn't she get a full-time snowflake? I'm going to send her a DM. Why didn't you get a full-time snowflake? I'm going to send her a DM. You don't know me, but why didn't you get a full-time snowflake? It's just not making sense. Anyways, I much rather have her have her on my daytime talk show than Meredith, but then Heather, than any of the other women. Definitely not gonna have Maylee on there. I'm gonna put up right behind me when Brittany comes on the daytime talk show with a missing sign for Maylee. Have you seen her, Brittany? Have you seen her? We need to know. All right, fine. All right. So Angie says that Brittany later thanked her in a text message for the wine. Then Mary says that was very two-faced. All right. And then she says it was rude for Meredith to leave her home, and that's when Brittany chimes in and says, "But you asked her to leave." And Mary then looks to Brittany and says, "Shut up." Shut up. It was like, that's not very kind. Oh, look, that's not very kind. And that's the thing about Salt Lake City. They are chaotic with their group scenes because it switches from one person to one person, then another person to another person. So then after Mary tells Brittany to shut up, Lisa brings up what Bronwyn said about Whitney. It said about Heather. And that's when we find out that Bronwyn said that Whitney believes that Heather won't have her back because she's desperate to be friends. I'm going to add the desperate part. Desperate to be friends with Lisa. Only for that to blow up in Bronwyn's face because Heather is just it's a dog with a bone. So she's not going to do or side with Bronwyn. And in Whitney's confessional, she's like, she said she's been the only one trying to be a friend to Bronwyn, and she threw her under the bus. And she was like, well, what she doesn't realize that we're going to get in that bus and back up on you. And that's clearly because Heather downplays what Bronwyn says that Whitney told her. And again, to be repetitive, it's very clear that these OGs have an alliance. Heather and Meredith have an alliance. It looks like during the season, Heather and Whitney decided to have an alliance and have each other's back. And it probably happened right after the Bestels party. I wouldn't be surprised if Whitney went to Heather like, we need to have each other's back this season. Or production told them, you guys need to have each other's back. No one is interested in bad weather arguing the season. So I wouldn't be surprised mid-season or at the top of the season, production told them, the network told them, no one's interested in you guys fighting. We need you guys united this season. And for us, we're like, this doesn't make sense. She was literally throwing her under the bus before. Anyways, so Bronwyn thought that would land. It didn't. However, I appreciate Bronwyn pointing it out because we all felt that way. But Heather and Whitney they're like, nope. We're going to have each other's back no matter what. And normally I'd be like, that's normal. They're cousins. But no, like we've seen cracks in this relationship. And it's probably over television. Let me say thank you. We had a few super chats. Julie, thank you so much for another super chat. Julie says, Meredith was on Watch What Happens Live and said Jen Shaw called her. Wonder if she brought up that to get Jen back on the show. I think Jen will be out in late 2025, in my opinion. No, she won't. It won't be 2025. And Andy already said he's not really interested. Just saying. Angelica, thank you so much for the super chat. Angelica says, even in Watch What Happens Live, Meredith kind of made what happened between Mary and her son about herself. You see? I didn't see her on Watch What Happens Live, but thank you for pointing that out. Jag, thank you so much for the super chat. Jag says, Bronwyn hosts events by renting a jet to a $10,000 a night, $20,000. Just say home and having an exclusive indie tour. Heather hosts events at a park bench while serving food from the trunk of her car on paper plates. Mind you, this event that they were hosting, they had to bring their own food. It was like a potluck. So then there was that. I mean, you're bringing up valid points. Mind you, Heather is supposed to have like a thriving med spa business. Just saying. Guess it's not that thriving. Lots of opinions. All right, let me get through this because this was a long episode. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy and it's free. We have over 1,100 of you here and only 300 and something likes. Like the video. I will be dropping the call link for you guys shortly. I will also drop the call link. Let me do it now so I don't forget. But members, you don't have to call in now because I have a few more scenes to go through. But let me go to the community tab and I'm going to drop the call link there. Hold on. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch and Twitter. We see you guys. We appreciate you guys as well. Shout out to Jennifer Lewis. She replied to an old video that I did about the accident that she had in Africa. And she's like, I don't know if I thanked you. She was talking about how we didn't know. I pointed out how how months had passed and we had no idea. So she responded to me on Twitter saying that she didn't want to tell the story until she had gotten up. mean that she was in a better place. So shout out to Jennifer Lewis. She also spilled some tea that she's working on her third book that will be coming out at the end of next year. So shout out to Jennifer Lewis. Love me some Jennifer Lewis. I loved her first book as well. All right. If you're a member of the channel or you want to become one, head on over to teamkempire.com/join. But I've also posted the call-in link on the backstage on the community tab. Okay. Let me get back to the rest of this. So then it leads to an argument between Angie and Bronwyn. I was like, how did they end up arguing? And it was over about what was said about Lisa that time that Angie, Bronwyn, and Whitney met up. And they rolled back the tape. I have to say, Bronwyn is a real one. Like, she has not been caught out in any lies. Like, she really, like, is probably the only forthright person in this group. And then when they play it back, it really was mostly Whitney trying to say some stuff about Lisa. And then, yeah, we saw Angie sort of like, yeah, you know, Lisa will do this. But we also see that Bronwyn's like, that has not been my experience with Lisa. So it ends up turning into this argument between Angie and Bronwyn. And I'm like, where did that fight come from? I like them getting along, but I don't think it will last. Hopefully not. And this is where Angie says, well, maybe you should borrow. I'm sorry that I didn't really find what Angie said funny, but Angie says that maybe you should borrow Meredith's hearing aids. Here's the thing though. It was Meredith's response that made me laugh. I was like, oh, damn. Meredith says, well, that's kind of offensive. Well, that's kind of offensive. And she's like, we're making fun of people's impairments now. Wow. I was like, it was the way she said it that made me go, oh, shoot. That's the thing about Meredith. Is that enough to keep Meredith on the show? No, Meredith could be a friend of the show and make those kinds of comments because she has nothing else really going on. But when it was Meredith's response to the hearing aids comments, and look, I think anyone with sense gets that Angie wasn't making fun of anyone with an impairment. What she was trying to be clever and point out that Bronwyn, you can't hear me? Well, maybe you need to borrow her hearing aids. But I get it. Meredith probably felt offended in the after show. Mary says, it was like a 2-for-1. You got Meredith and you got Bronwyn. Meredith's response now, wow, that was kind of offensive. It was. All right. Then this turns into a fight between Lisa and Mary. So for those that didn't know, there were rumors, okay, that Lisa and Mary had a big fight this season where Mary used the R word. I'm not going to repeat the R word, but we had heard recently that they were going to edit that out. They're not going to completely get rid of it because it wouldn't make sense later in the season. But this is why Real Housewives of Salt Lake City editors are top tier, because a lot of us probably would not even notice that more was said or that something was edited out. What they left in was enough for us to be like, oh, there was some issue between Lisa and Mary. Because Mary's like, Lisa, you're so fake. Mary is speaking for all of us. Okay? I can't believe it. But Mary is speaking for all of us in this moment when it comes to Lisa. All right? Mary says that Lisa is the fakest person that she's ever met. Not far from the truth. So they end up getting into it, and then they start talking about fashion. They're arguing about fashion. So Mary brings up that she wore her Fendi outfit to her party. And she's like, I got it from my buyer. I was in the front row when that was on the runway. I was there with Sarah Jessica Parker and blah, 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 blah. Lisa, you are so new money, and it's so obvious to me. Sidebar, I did see that for Watch What Happens Live in Miami, the Bravo Fan Fest. Homegirl, according to a source, was in seat 17 something. So she was flying coach because Bravo was not going to pay for first class for her. I was like, more and more I see that Lisa wants to act as if, I'm not saying that Lisa's poor, but Lisa wants to act like she's a lot richer than she really is. She really wants to act like she's richer than she really is. So she says that, oh, Mary wasn't at the front row. Mary wasn't at the front row because Mary doesn't leave her house. Let's be honest. And when she does leave her house, she goes to Vegas to spend time at her other house. She would come to New York for her other house, but I think she sold that other house that she had here in New York. Okay. So maybe it's that. Look, maybe it's that. So I think if Mary wanted to be front row at anyone, Mary's probably like me. Like, I don't want to be, like, I get invited to places all the time. I'm like, I really don't want to go. I'm not interested. Don't want to go. It's not important to me. Fine. Okay. Exactly. Jennifer says that Lisa is a tryhard. She is. And it's so obvious. She's so nouveau riche. Come on. All right. High Vibe says that Lisa is Teresa Giudice. Well, here's the difference between Teresa and Lisa. At least Lisa's like name brand stuff is real. Just saying. Just saying. That's the word on the street. So there is this fight between Lisa and Mary. Again, they edit out some of the offensive things that Mary allegedly said. I'm just going to say allegedly because no one's ever confirmed that. Okay, that was a rumor. But Lisa brings up her buyer in Milan, Danny in Milan. She did post a picture of Danny. She spelled it D-A-N-I, and then later in the same tweet, she put D-A-N-N-Y. I was like, oh, okay. So she posted a picture of some random woman that we're supposed to believe is Danny, her buyer in Milan. Okay. And then Mary brings up what Lisa said about Meredith. She's just like, I don't understand. Like, she's bringing up facts. And I know some people are like, well, that happened a long time ago. They've moved on. Here's the thing, though. How do you move on from this?
Yeah. Meredith can go herself. I'm done with her. Because I'm not a whore and I don't cheat on my husband.
Whore.
Her and a dumb
cheat on your husband.
Poses. Why don't you own a house? Wait, you can't. Because your husband changes jobs every 5 minutes? Thank you, Meredith is a piece of I have your back and I'm offended by that. You fucking piece of garbage whore. I hate her. She's a whore. She's half of New York.
She hates her. She's effed half of New York. Like, she said that with her full chest. How do you get... Mary points out, like, you said this about your friend. Okay. All right. Speaking of Meredith, in the next scene, Meredith hosts Shabbat. Brittany brings Jared over there. Not sure if they're together or not. Fine. Bronwyn's dress and shoe bag that she had, gorgeous. She brought the Todd father with her. Meredith's kids, Brooks, has a conversation with Heather about soaking, and then we learn a new one, jump humping. So apparently you have a third person there during that whole soaking situation. You people that are so super religious that do all of these antics just so that you can be right with God, and then you're so judgy of other people. Come on. Look, come on. So they had that conversation. During the after show, Lisa does talk more about John Barlow and him finding his biological mother and things like that. So she tells the story more in depth. They talk a little bit about it in this scene. And Lisa really took more of the reins of finding out more about this, connecting the dots. So she says in the after show, John did meet his biological mother and, her new husband, not his father. And this man kept on bringing up how he was a bastard child. So she gets emotional in the after show, like she feels bad that she forced him to kind of, go and do this. And I was just like, ooh, like that's the real story that we need to get into. Maybe they'll talk about it during the reunion. But I was just like, oh, I was like, okay. I was like, there's a lot more to that situation. I'm glad I got to see the after show where she talks a little bit more about it. But she did say that John was traumatized by the experience. Oof, a little rough. So the Todd father reveals that he had the NSA, not the NSA, National Security, do a background check on Bronwyn. And before you guys get all excited, like, oh my God, how could he do that? Some of y'all need to do background checks on the people that you're dating. But I get it. Not everybody can afford one. Okay, come on. You don't think these people that make a certain amount of money get into these relationships aren't doing background checks? Some of them probably should have. That did not make me pause. I was like, good. I already told y'all, when we talked about Love Match Atlanta and we were talking about matchmaking, things like that, Those matchmakers do background checks on the people that they're matchmaking with you. That's why I said when I decide to get in a relationship, if I decide to use a matchmaker, yes, run that background check. Make sure the credit score is good too. Just saying. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, this man invented the Palm Pilot. Yeah, of course he did. He did a background check on her and found nothing. Only thing he found out was about everything that happened with her, with her kid and stuff like that. Just saying. Paste URL says, right, Kempire, people need to do background checks on their future mates. Yeah. And more than just Instagram. You know, people are fronting and lying on Instagram. So just say it. You got to do a background check. I've never done one on someone I was dating yet. But please understand, if you're dating me, we're going to run those numbers. Okay? We're going to run those numbers. Just saying. Jack says, Todd is smart. And here's the thing. Before my review, I did see a couple of comments about, oh my gosh, you know, Todd from this episode. I was like, what did Todd do now? So I thought maybe in this episode I would end up hating Todd. I was like, nope. And even when Todd tells her to cease and seckle, he didn't say that. He's like, don't say that because Bronwyn is talking and she says that she can be a real snarky curse word. And I try to make out what she said. I think she may have said, see you next Tuesday. And some people are really triggered by the word see you next Tuesday. Okay? Some people are really triggered by that. And he's probably like, remember, he's old school. I'm not making excuses for Todd or the Todd father, but I am. He's old school. And that's what happens when you're dating an older man. There is going to be that sort of dynamic where that's a little daddy-like. Okay? So I'm not surprised. Honestly, though, if I was at the dinner table with my boo, and he was extremely, like, no one's being vulgar. We're at a religious thing. This is Shabbat, y'all. Keep that in mind. This is Shabbat. We're at a religious thing, and I'm just dropping the see you next Tuesday word. I'm not sure that's what she said. She said something. Oh, Amit said that's what she said. See? Look, Kay says she said it. See? You think that I'm probably going to, I probably would nudge my partner like, don't say that. Don't say, look. We are in a Shabbat dinner. They just said the prayer. Come on. She's a little vulgar. All right. But she didn't seem swayed by it. But apparently you guys were like, oh my God, Todd is so controlling. Todd is this, Todd is that. No. He was embarrassed. Like, girl, why are you cussing? Okay, Special K says, I thought she said the C word. That's what I think is what she said. Some people find that very offensive. Again, you're saying this at a Shabbat dinner, a very holy dinner. Disgusting. Okay? So he corrects. He's like, don't say that. So they end up talking about Mary and if something's going on with Mary because Meredith brings up what happened. Okay? Meredith says she wonders if there's a bigger problem. And it makes me wonder if they're just sort of setting us up, like they already know, but they're sort of setting us up like, yeah, we know Mary's going through something. Even Brittany, who's had issues, she was just told to shut up by Mary. Sidebar, please understand, I hate breaking the fourth wall for you guys. I'm not saying this is fact. What I'm saying is don't be surprised that the Shabbat dinner is not filmed in the same sequence. You know what I mean? That things actually happen. Just keep that in mind. All right. So, but even Brittany says that maybe they need to give Mary some grace. See, like there's a very like sweet side to Brittany, despite, you know, Mary telling her to shut up, you know, people talking about her. Like there's a sweetness to Mary, and not Mary, to Brittany and Mary. Okay. There's a little bit of a sweetness. I was like, oh, look at that. Look at that sweetness. You didn't think that was sweetness? Look, Tanisha says, I like Brittany. She's like, maybe we should give Brittany Mary some grace. All right. So this final scene, and shout out to I saw all the housewives were reacting to this. All the fans were reacting to this when it aired. Mary and her son. So Mary goes to her son's room and he admits that he just had taken a Xanax. And then he said that he took an Adderall to balance it out. I said, shoot. I was like, oh, damn. All right. And then he goes over the history. Sidebar. Speaking of season 1 of Real Housewives of New York, Allie, you remember Jill's daughter? She says that she found this scene with Mary and Robert Jr. to be exploitive and uncomfortable and cringy to watch. Look, I know a lot of people might not agree with her, might say, this is what needed to happen. I can see people feeling that way, but at the same time, I appreciate the vulnerability of everyone involved. Okay? Some might say that Robert Jr. was not in the place to make that kind of decision. I mean, he did seem to me in the place, even though he had taken a Xanax, he didn't seem like people were forcing him against his will to do this. And again, we are always asking for real moments. This was real, raw, and incredible at the same time, and incredibly challenging at the same time. So he talks about his history of drug use, talked about how he started at 16, how it was just like the weed at one particular point. Then he said he went to a party and someone introduced him to Xanax. Then he talked about all the things that he's mixed it with. And I'm just like, oof. And then it gets really even sadder because he says that he didn't want to live. He said he felt like a stain. So hear me out. We have to remember something. This is a kid that grew up in a very religious family. And this is not to come down on religion, even though I've come down on religion a lot in this live stream. It's not to come down on religion, but we have to also remember they're the head of the church. Can you imagine what pressure the son of the leaders of the church? Mary is not just the leader of the church either. She's sort of allegedly looked at as sort of like this holy person within the church. So she's not the head of the church. She's looked as the holy person of this church, allegedly. So I can only imagine what pressure that he felt growing up in that environment. So he says that he felt like a stain on the family. And honestly, even if they weren't in that predicament, I know there are plenty of people that deal with addiction that would feel this way, no matter what. Because no one else in the family might have this issue or whatever it may be. So that he said he felt like a stain. He wanted to take his life at one particular point. And Mary is getting emotional. She's like, you know that would kill me if you weren't around. She says that she was not happy before Robert Jr. And I said, Robert Sr. was probably like, excuse me? She then, this is only Mary Cosby could do this, make us laugh in such a serious situation. She says to Robert Jr., she's like, I think I love you more than Daddy. But don't tell Daddy that. Don't tell Daddy that. Come on. When she said, I was like, oh God. I honestly, part of me was grateful for that little moment of laughter because it was such a serious scene. Him talking about his years of using and then wanting to take his own life. And he said the only reason why he didn't was because of her. They have a very close bond. She says that's her best friend. They have their conversations. All right. Oh, Olivia, I'm so glad you said this. Olivia, when Mary said this, she says, you're my friend, my son, my gift. Olivia says all children deserve to hear those very words. Oh, it broke my heart watching that scene. 3 times I watched it. Just to take everything in. So again, we're dealing with editing because at one particular point you see that he's fine and all of a sudden you see he's bawling. So there's probably a lot, Allie, Jill Zarin's daughter, that was probably taken out for protecting Robert Jr. All right. So he gets really, really emotional about it and says that she's the only reason why he didn't take his life. And then again, Mary says that she was never happy before his existence. And throughout the episode, we see them setting us up for this final scene. It was a beautifully haunting, emotional, dark scene. Mary did talk a little bit about it during the after show, and she says that they're constantly having conversations. And during the episode, I felt like Mary blamed herself, but at least within the after show, she's like, there's nothing that we can do until the person is ready to do it for themselves. So it's clear that they're probably getting the help that he needs. I did recall, you remember we had our Real Housewives takeover with the Brooke Ashley and Taria, where we had that breaking news that he was in rehab. So I wish them the best. Addiction is serious. They need our support. They need our prayers. And that's all we can do. And I appreciate them sharing this. They didn't have to share this at all, but I appreciate them sharing this. And I do wish him well. He's still such a young person with a full life ahead of him. So I hope he's able to figure this out. What I do find interesting, because some people like to come down on people with addiction, I thought it was interesting that, I think it was in the after show. Yeah, it was the after show where Mary says that Robert Sr. had a little bit of an issue with drugs. And that's when his mother forced him to go into the military. I don't know if that issue came up ever again, but it made me think, I was like, oh, well, maybe this is like a genetic thing. Maybe it's a genetic thing. So we wish Robert Jr. and Robert Sr. and Mary the best in this situation. I can't imagine, for those that have had a child with addiction or a family member with addiction, it's not easy. It's not easy. And there's nothing you yourself can do until they're ready. All you can do is pray and be there for them. And that's exactly what Mary says to him in that moment. Just like, I'm here for you no matter what you, like, I'm not here to judge you, which is so important, because I don't think people would expect someone that's so religious to say that. And Mary continues to surprise us. She continues to surprise us. Sidebar. In the after show, when Angie is talking about the comment that she made about the hearing aids, Mary fixed her mouth to say, that is very derogatory. I was like, Mary, you've said so many derogatory things over the years, and that's where you draw the line? Literally this season, you allegedly said something really derogatory. So I found it interesting how she was correcting Angie in the after show. Anyways, I say all that to say, I enjoyed this episode. It was hard to watch, but I enjoyed it. And look, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is having a fantastic season. I did see that our friends over at OMFG Reality TV on Instagram did post that they're changing the time for Salt Lake City. I think they're moving Salt Lake City to the 8 o'clock hour, and they're going to be putting on that new show. What is it called? Something for Sale at Salt Lake City, or SLC. So that will be coming on, I believe, at 9 p.m. Or I might have that switched around. But either way, note that there will be a time change for Salt Lake City. So make sure you check that out. You're welcome, Bravo. Like, why am I doing y'all dirty work? Anyways, let's get to some calls. I want to go check. I want to leave the house and go look at some on Black Friday deals, even though I don't like being around a lot of people. But I'm going to go look, all right? All right, I'm going to be in London. Guys, don't forget the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to London on December 8th. And we're working on something special, London creators, or you want to pick my brain. We're working on something special. So get your coins together. Stay tuned. I was hoping to be able to announce it today, but no. It is what it is. But if you are in London, want to be in London, or will be in London, December 8th, we'll be at Neon 194. Ticket information for that will be available in the description. And of course, meet and greets and VIP tickets are available for that. And I'm coming to Washington, D.C. on January 24th, 2025. Inauguration week, I know. Ooh. But I'll be the light at the end of the tunnel, okay? I'll be the light at the end of the tunnel. We're going to have a good old time in Washington, D.C. yet again. Go get your VIP tickets. Go get your other tickets, whatever it may be. I will see you all in Washington, D.C. on January 24th. More information on the Kempire After Dark live experience will be available in the description. And I hope to announce New York City soon. After this, I'm going to reach out and just make sure that we can confirm that. So hopefully I'll be able to announce it soon. All right. But that will be at the top of next year as well. All right. All right. Guys, don't forget to like the video. Let's get to 500 likes and I will drop the call link for the general audience. But we already have quite a few people backstage. If you remember the channel, we've posted the call-in link on the community tab here on YouTube. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch, Twitter, and on TikTok behind the scenes. We appreciate you guys being here. Nora says, Kempire, what's the scoop on Coach Shah and Monica? I don't know. You tell me. Look, you tell me. Okay. Let me take a sip. All right. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitter. I see some of your comments now. Storm says that one of the most powerful scenes from any Housewives show. I've seen that comment a lot. Let me see. Nick says she's tragically desperate. Ooh, look, ooh. Okay. All right, members, we're going to take some callers backstage. Hayat is backstage. Hayat, what did you want to share about
Oh
the
my
Real Housewives of Salt
God,
Lake City?
I'm first.
Yes,
Hey,
you are,
Kempire,
madam.
how
Thank
are
you for being a
you?
member.
Thank you, thank you. I hope you're well.
Yeah.
I love how I'm gonna talk about Salt Lake and nothing about New York. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, about Salt Lake, I found it so weird. Well, not really weird because Heather wants to die on this hill of Bronwyn. That she had a problem with them doing Todd doing a background check on Bronwyn, but all of a sudden he's supposed to be a smart businessman. Why wouldn't he get a prenup? Like maybe he didn't get the prenup because he got the background check. Heather, have you thought about that?
Mm.
Just saying. It was very weird, but Heather was being honestly really creepy and weird on that after show that they did in Miami. I don't know if you caught it.
No.
Um, Andy brought up. Well, I'll tell you. Andy brought up Mary's situation, and all Heather really had to say was, "I thought it was compelling TV." That was gross. It was really gross. And then
Mm.
we had Meredith that was busy making it all about herself on that show as well, saying how I wish she told me about it because I had a family member that blah, 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 blah. Can you just be there for her? Your own son on that FaceTime said, there's something off. Maybe ask her about it. Anyway, so
Mm.
thank you, Kempire.
Thank you, Hayat. Take care. All right. So Nora on my TikTok said in regards to Monica and Coach Shaw, coordinator Shaw, Heather, hold on. Heather said that they kissed. Monica is suing Heather now. So wasn't she was suing her for what? Defamation? Okay. Monica, stop. Girl, you already lost one of the lawsuits. Let's move on. Pay it off. Do something. Do something. All right. All right. Let me bring up Nicole next. Nicole, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Hey, Campfire, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm not even going to talk about Salt Lake City.
Oh.
I'm going to talk about the abortion stuff.
Let's not use that
Well,
word though. Okay.
okay, let me know if I need to talk in code. I say abortion. You know, um, I watched too many friends of mine, never been in a less station, but I watched them where they suffered. And for this is times right now is changing. It's very important. Women rights issues. And
Mm.
so when I'm seeing the women that's co-signing on it, like really, like the thing I want to say, abortion. I'm not gonna say the whole thing because I'm gonna protect your channel. I watch women 20 years later giving up their children through adoption of a grape. I'm sorry. That's what I'm.
Nicole, did we lose you? Are you there?
No, I'm here. And you know what I see with Mary from Salt Lake City,
Mm-hmm.
she's glowing. She's she's nourishing herself. She looks so gaunt, like the first two like seasons. But she's look at her. Her face is plump. She's healthy now.
Mm.
But her heart is broken because she allowed her child to be the man of the household, and it's like she was a helicopter mother, basically. That's what you're saying.
Mm.
So that's all I want to say.
Okay.
So so give these women grace who took the child's life out. They didn't want it. I've seen them grieve for years. Never been through it. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nicole, for calling in.
Yeah.
Oop. All right, we're gonna guys. I just dropped the call link for the general audience as well. We're taking calls from our members. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. O'Shea's backstage. O'Shea, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. Side note about have you been watching Andy's live shows?
Andy's?
this past week.
No,
The Watch What Happens live.
no. I missed the fan fest stuff.
Oh, okay, then never mind. He has some fresh filler though, so he looks good at least. But anyway, I was gonna say something about about Meredith. Because they brought up Mary's and the son situation, and then she started talking about herself and how she went through the same thing with her nephew and why Mary didn't come to her about it because she'll be able to help her. I'm
Hmm.
like, are you that self-involved that this is now about you? Like, can we let people have their moments? Even like a lot of people online were saying like this humanized Mary and stuff. I'm like, what? So what did y'all think about her before this? Like,
Hmm.
it's I don't know. Like you don't need to see someone like broken on TV like to see them as people or to like sympathize with them. Like this is a show. These are people like.
No.
But yeah, but that's all combined.
Thank you so much for calling in, O'Shea. Bye. All right. Let me stop that. So here's the thing. I can see two sides of this. I didn't see the clip of Meredith talking about, what she's gone through, but remember she did talk about her family member that had struggled with drugs and things like that. So again, it's just a reminder to me that Meredith and Mary never really had that close of a friendship. They pretended on the show, but I don't think they were ever really that close. But I could see Meredith being a good resource with when it comes to issues like that because she did go through something like that with a family member. She did talk about it on the show. So I mean, if anything, I hope now that they can, because I think Mary's going to need not just support, but also tools and recommendations for places for Robert Jr. to get the help that he needs. All right. We have Nasser backstage. Nasser, what did you want to share in regards to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
Well, how are you today?
Good. The Black Friday sales are pretty good in Soho if you're going shopping.
Oh, note to
Okay, just
self.
a little side
I
note.
hate Soho though, but I like
It was
Soho.
good.
I like Soho as an area, but like shopping, it's all the tourists. Anyways,
Sorry, but that was my little side note for you. But just to get into Salt Lake, I don't know. I'm starting to think maybe I'm old. I'm co-signing everything Todd does. Maybe I'm old and grumpy too. Because
I already
I've done
said
a
I'm am.
background check. I've done a background check on someone I've dated. I will look your credit report up. I will get your transcripts. I'm going to confirm. I'm going to get your W-2s as well. I'm going to confirm that income. I'm sorry. People be lying in these streets. You've got to do what you got to do. It is what it is. I'm sorry. Like, what do you want? I wouldn't want to be at dinner at a table with these ladies. They're annoying. Leave Todd alone. Leave him alone. He's just older. I'm old too. We're the same. It's okay. I co-sign Todd. I don't know. Side note, on the other thing, Meredith gives me grifter vibes. Like, I can't explain it. Everything's very questionable. And that hot mic moment, I feel like Lisa knows more than we will ever really know about Meredith.
Oh.
I don't know what. But let me just do the other bit real quickly.
Mhm.
So I want to talk about Mary. It is a big deal that her son had access to Oxy 30 just as a healthcare professional. That is insane. That drug is so powerful. One tablet can do an OD on you.
Oh.
So for me, I was shocked that he had access. He was talking about doing 10 tabs a day. It broke my heart. Like, it is very addictive. It is very scary. You have to be careful when you have money, when you have access to these things. It's just, watch your children, please. This was a very vulnerable moment. I disagree with Ali. I don't think they were exploiting. I don't think it was inappropriate. I really feel that this was Robert's cry for help. I really feel it was him just kind of like letting everything out and showing like, okay, I think I might be ready to get help now. And I sobbed like a baby. I sobbed like crazy.
No.
Mary was real for this. I really, felt her pain. I always felt Mary was human, but I just feel that we have to be honest. There is an addiction issue in America.
Yeah.
There's a huge problem of how prescription drugs are filled. That medication you can only get through a prescription. So I want to know what doctor's prescribing. Like, I'm thinking about other things.
Yeah.
Like, who's prescribing this? What pharmacist is filling this?
No.
Just because of my background in this field. this is why I'm worried about teenagers nowadays. They're not just smoking weed and drinking. This
No.
is scary. Like they're losing their life. We have so many overdoses and accidental overdoses. We've got to do a better job.
Definitely.
So that's all I want to share.
Wait, before you go,
Yeah.
wait. So how in the hell are you doing all these background checks on people? Like, tell us your ways.
So I work with an attorney
Oh.
that has an investigator that does this.
Oh.
And also when you get a matchmaker, when they
Yes.
do it, you also do yours. Because if I'm paying you to do your job, I make sure that you're doing it too. There's a lot of scammers out here.
Yes.
Like you have to make sure who you're dealing with. So yes, and that's for every ladies. I'm older. In your 20s, do this mess. In your 30s, I don't care who you're dating, unless you knew them like their parents when you were in high school. You always
And
do
even
that.
then, you don't know.
True. You never know nowadays.
All right. So wait, have you ever found anything crazy based off of a background check?
Yes. Okay. So one guy had, oh my God, I don't know if I can, this was a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
but I'm not saying his name, so I'm not releasing
Yeah.
anything.
No.
Had a charge for something with a minor. I'll leave it like that.
Oh hell! I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I should have known because he was always talking about how young I looked because I'm older. And I was like, yeah. And he had an eviction on his record, on his credit report. That was the other thing. But, those were the two. The criminal background check and the credit report helped me with that one. Yeah.
Well, damn. So are you still in the dating world, or have you settled down?
No, I'm dating. I'm not starting again until 2025.
Oh, you're taking a break for the holidays.
So I moved back to the East Coast.
Okay.
I'm around family now. I just got settled. I've been here for 6 months.
Oh,
back
okay.
in the game. So slowly, I'm starting up with the matchmaker, and I told them, you got to do things thorough. I don't play well. In full disclosure, what I do for a living, you have to be extra careful what somebody does. Like
Oh.
what somebody is. I have to be very, especially someone who has substance abuse history, certain things, because of what I do, I have to be very careful.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, Nazar, we appreciate you being so damn transparent.
I tell too much of my business. I need to be quiet. But yes.
No, because you're gonna help other people. You're gonna help other
Yes,
people. I mean, some people
absolutely.
look. Allie said that about Mary and her son, but no, you're helping people.
Yes.
Thank you for calling in, Nasra.
Oh.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Josie. See, y'all have more interesting stories than these celebrities. I don't want to talk about these celebrities. Let's talk about the real tea, the real life stuff. We need a dating show. Anyways, Ellie's backstage. We're going to take Ellie, we're going to take Miss Bernice, and then we're done. Okay? All right, because I got to get out of here. I want to go get some Black Friday sales, and I hate the fact that it gets darker earlier. Anyways, let me bring up Ellie. Ellie, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I had a similar story as the previous caller, but I didn't do a background check. I just had to look for mugshots in the area because he said something that made me think he was on probation. And then
Wait,
so
what
I
did
was
he
like,
say?
well, let me look it up.
Wait, Ellie, what did he say to make you think it's on probation?
I don't remember. It was something of like a mention of an officer, but not like police officer or it was something about like ownership of the officer, like my officer or something like that. Like if he was assigned, like my probation officer, but he just said officer anyway.
And then you
I
wait.
looked it up and it was
Where'd you look
similar.
it up?
I searched for mugshots in the area, his name, and all the different areas that I knew that he lived in. But I didn't do background check because I didn't even know you could do that. Thank you. I'm gonna look that up just in cases. But speaking about Mary, I was
Wait. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm very invested. Did you find out the charge?
Yeah, I was in decency with a minor, but it didn't. A minor under 16. And that was the offense. And then it said that it had his mugshot. It said the dates, da-da-da-da. And then you go on the registry and you confirm.
Oh, damn. Oof.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. And it's... All right. I'm sorry. Ellie, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
I always forget to do this, but I'm Ellie. I'm in Austin, Texas, but I'm from Laredo, and I've been on your channel for, more than a year now. Anyway, Salt Lake City, It's really so good, and I was so worried with the how without Monica. But I was just talking to my sister just a little bit ago, and I was like, "Girl, you have to get on and watch this show because I don't even notice that Monica's not there. It is that
Monica
good.
who?
It is that good." And I was a big fan. I liked it. I love the mess. I mean, and then I love a Latina. So I mean, what do you want me to do? But gosh, it is so good. And Mary, and I mean, if what Mary and her son did in that scene was fake or for I don't know,
Yeah.
karma, um, then man, they're some of the most amazing actors I've ever seen. Because I was moved. I was like, oh my god, and I felt it. And I'm like, if this is them playing, then they need a variety show, like a mother boy show, because they're good. They're good because
Yeah.
they got me. So, anyways, Kempire, come to Texas, please. Me and my
What part of
sister, we're
Texas?
ready for you. We're gonna drive. We're gonna make it a whole little thing.
Oh, okay, Ellie. You said it. We're working on it. All right, Ellie. Thank you so much for calling in.
Bye.
Bye. Ooh, perfect timing. All right, Miss Bernice is backstage and Miss Wendy's backstage. You lucky, Miss Wendy. We like you. Okay. All right. No, we're gonna bring up Miss Bernice first. Hold on, Miss Bernice. What did you want to share?
Actually, today is like an old.
Miss
What up,
Bernice,
though,
who's behind?
Kempire?
Who's
How
back
you
there with
doing?
you?
Hello, this is Miss Bernice,
Oh, okay.
born in Birmingham, Alabama, raised in the D,
Oh, okay.
Capricorn.
Okay.
Yes. Um, this show, it was good and bad at the same time because Meredith wants to be the perpetual victim, just like Heather. You went off on this woman in her house, and you got offended when she asked you to be quiet or leave. That was either or. You chose to leave. And then you said you was doing her a favor by inviting her out to a art gallery that's an hour to 2 hours drive from her house. So what she's supposed to leave out the house at 11 a.m. to get there at 1 o'clock? You're not that important. I got things to do. Come on now. You are unaware, just like Dorit on Beverly Hills, of anybody going through anything if it doesn't involve you. I'm tired of seeing this. I'm really, I'm tired of seeing this. And for people who, with the drugs and everything, a lot of these are prescriptions or they're getting them from their parents.
Yeah. Or
Because there's a
stealing it.
lot of over medicated parents out there who, instead of getting rid of the drugs out of the house and they're not using them anymore, they just leave them there. And the kids is going like a cocktail at their parties with all the pills.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. All right, Miss
Yeah.
Bernice, thank you for calling in.
Okay, kiddo, go get you something to eat.
You
Go
know I'm
shop.
hungry. All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, Miss Wendy's backstage. We're gonna bring Miss Wendy up because she's always short. What's going on, Miss Wendy?
Oh, happy belated Thanksgiving.
You too.
I just want to say I just feel so bad for Mary
Yeah.
and what she's going through with her son, and I can only imagine because the way she feels about her son is the way I feel about my 19-year-old son.
Mm.
You know, I'm like I told my son, even though he wasn't planned, he was a miracle baby
Mm.
because I was told I couldn't have kids. So,
Mm.
so I felt bad on that instance, but other than that, I love the way Mary read everybody. I was just like, it was so funny. That campfire. I don't know what that true Beverly Hills thing was, but it was funny to me.
You
And
need to go
and
watch it.
then I think I saw somewhere that allegedly Mary's house is in foreclosure. Yeah, you
I mean,
might
I
want to
wouldn't be
look up in that.
surprised.
Yeah, allegedly her house is in foreclosure. So I'm like, y'all living above y'all means. Next year, y'all really be living above y'all means. That's it. Love y'all. Bye.
Bye. Here's the thing, guys. We also reported to you in regards to Mary's lawsuit against the company that worked with her church and how they allegedly stole like millions of dollars. And I told you, I feel like the only reason why Mary's back this season full time and is giving up the goods in regards to everything and getting involved and participating is because she allegedly needs the money. So I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I don't know. I haven't seen that information for myself in regards to Mary's home, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised, especially if they're alleging that this company stole millions of dollars from them. And you know, there've been questions about the church and the money and things like that. So then there's that. Philly John says it's the second mortgage and foreclosure, $100K. Thank you, Philly John. We're going to continue to follow these stories. Look, Mary Cosby is definitely back this season full time, bringing it and sharing a lot, even some things that she could have probably brushed over. And I think Bravo and the producers would understand if she did not want to talk about this on camera. I think that they would understand. But here we are. Mr. Mellon Magic says, "Where's her husband?" In Vegas. Look, in Vegas. But then there's that. Anyways, guys, we appreciate you all being here. Shout out to everyone that called in. Shout out to all of you that sent in super chats. Shout out to our King's Guards on multiple platforms holding us down. Shout out to our replay crew. Be sure to let us know your thoughts on anything that we discussed, from Real Housewives of New York to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and all the other conversations. And if you also did a background check on one of your boos, let us know, replay crew. I want to know. Interesting. And honestly, those calls just made me say, like, oh, damn, whoever I date next, you getting a background check. Look, you're getting a background check. Anyways, guys, we appreciate you all being here. Have a great rest of your holiday weekend. You know, look, the holiday weekend's here, Black Friday. Go get those sales if there's any to get. Look, any to get. All right, y'all. See y'all later. Bye.
All the lights hanging up, you can see from the street. But if you're not coming over, you can light up my dreams. Every snowfall reminds me to call, 'cause I know if you're not here, then it's not Christmas at all. But this year, oh, I believe you're coming back to me. I'll be your angel when the snow's coming down. Every day of the year, but I can't feel it by myself. Only works if you're here.